Welcome to the Rick and Silence Review Show. Today we'll be reviewing one of my favorite Motown acts, the Four Tops, and their second album, simply titled The Four Tops' Second Album, released in 1965. Levi Stubbs, in my opinion, is the true king of soul, but I'll be doing a separate video on him at a later point, so I'll delve into that topic at that time. For now, we'll just be sticking to reviewing this album. But for a bit of basic personnel info for those who may not be aware of who the Four Tops are, their initial iteration consisted of Abdul, aka Duke Fakir, Ronaldo Obie Benson, Lawrence Payton, and lead singer Levi Stubbs. Now, as of 2023, Fakir is the only surviving member of the original iteration of this group, with songs written by the legendary trio of Holland Dozier Holland and instrumentation provided by the equally revered Funk Brothers of Motown. This was one of the several albums from several artists to come out of Motown's golden era in the 1960s and 1970s. I'm a huge Motown fan. It was one of the earliest kinds of music I can remember listening to as a child, long before hip-hop, rock, or opera, or anything else. I absolutely credit Berry Gordy's well-run stable of soulful musical talent for instilling a thorough sense of melody into my DNA, and it has gone on to influence just about every genre of music I listen to now. I've been looking forward to doing some Motown content, so let's dive into our review of the Four Tops' self-titled second album, The Four Tops' Second Album. The first song is called I Can't Help Myself. This is easily one of the group's most recognizable songs. It's likely you've heard this song at some point in your life, whether it be in a film, or on TV, or maybe even in a commercial. And in my case, it was through my father's record collection, and also through the oldie station on the radio. They used to play this all the time. This song, as well as another track on this album, It's the Same Old Song, were staples of the oldies radio stations when I was a kid. I'm not sure if they still play it now, but back then it was. I knew the lyrics to both of those songs years and years before I had any idea of who the Four Tops even were. Definitely one of their classic hits. 10 out of 10. Number 2. Love Feels Like Fire. Not quite as memorable as the previous song as far as the Funk Brothers instrumentation is concerned, but I'll be damned if Levi Stubbs doesn't carry this track completely on his own. Not one I would intentionally skip on a listen through of the album, but not one I would particularly seek out on my own either. Right down the road with this one, right down the middle. I give this one 5 out of 10. Number 3. Is There Anything That I Can Do? When I dream of you at night, everything seems to be... This is a really good track. I've actually sampled this song in my hip-hop production recently. Everyone does a great job here, and the hook is catchy as hell. Great song. 8 out of 10. Number 4. Something About You. I don't have too much to say about this particular track. It's not that it... I don't know. It's just mediocre, I guess. In my opinion, at least. Everything about this song just kind of comes off as fillerish. It's not offensive in any way, but it's not very memorable either. Not even Levi Stubbs' vocals could salvage this one for me. I give it a 1.5 out of 10. The next song is called It's the Same Old Song. As I stated earlier, another one of the group's most well-known songs. This one also happens to be one of my personal favorites. Everyone is firing on all cylinders here. The Funk Brothers provide a nice, energetic, and highly melodic groove, and the Four Tops perfectly complement it with their vocals. The yearning in Levi Stubbs' vocal delivery is at its strongest here. It really, really feels like the listener is personally experiencing the feeling of this intimate heartbreak the song is describing. 10 out of 10. The next song is called Helpless. A decent follow-up to the previous song. The instrumentation is pretty good. However, I think it's just a little too upbeat in some parts. in contrast to the lyrical content provided, but that's just my opinion. Also, I feel it could use a stronger hook, but once again, Stubbs pretty much carries this song on his own. Not a terrible song by any means, but not a great one either. Another one that's just right down the middle. I give this one a 4.5 out of 10. The next song is called Just As Long As You Need Me. Now here's another track that I really like. I love everything about this song. The instrumentation, both the lead and the backing vocals, the song structure, everything just comes together really, really nicely here. I often wonder why this wasn't one of their singles back then when this album was released, but nevertheless, it's one of their strongest. I give it a 9.5 out of 10. The next song is called Darling, I Hum Our Song. Darling. Another good song here. This one slows down the tempo slightly, but not too slow. But the slower pace really allows the vocals to shine through on this track. Not one of my absolute favorite songs on the album. There's this one specific part of the melody that comes in every few bars as a transition section that I feel is the weakest part of the composition. And in my humble opinion, kinda kills the flow of what came before it. But other than that, it's still a pretty good song, I guess. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. The next song is called I Like Everything About You. This one is, in my opinion, not very good at all, unfortunately. Now, I personally think that the vocals from the Four Tops, especially from Levi Stubbs, are way too good for the material they were given to work with for this song. The instrumentation is lazy and phoned in, and who the fuck is the fifth grader who was brought in to write the goddamn lyrics to this? Like, I don't know. Like I said, the only good aspect here are the guy's vocals, but not even they can save this, whatever the hell this is. This song is the definition of a filler track. 0 out of 10. The next song is called Since You've Been Gone. Now, a much better track here. The vocals are great, as is the overall song structure, with a particularly strong hook. And I really like the melody of the music itself from the Funk Brothers. There's a xylophone, or maybe a vibraphone, that's very prominent throughout the composition, and it really pushes the momentum forward, adding a somewhat bouncy vibe to everything. It just feels nice to listen to. I give this one a 9.5 out of 10. We're down to the final two songs. Number 11, Stay in My Lonely Arms. Why don't you stay? This song is another one that's just right down the middle, for me at least. It's a slower track, and the vocals and instrumentation are fine. But I feel like there was some missed potential here that would have made for a much stronger song. There are certain elements that I think are really well done, but then on the other side of that, there are others where I feel that the selection of a slightly different creative choice would have made for a much better end result. Overall, I just think things could have been executed better on this song. I give this one a 5. Okay, I'll be generous. A 5.5 out of 10. And the final song, number 12, is called I'm Grateful. Thankfully, this is a perfect tune to end this album with. I have no complaints about this one whatsoever. The Funk Brothers instrumentation, the lyrics, and the vocal delivery from the Four Tops is top-notch here, with a really strong, catchy melody, and Levi Stubbs on lead vocals is so passionate, as usual. The pain, the love, the sincerity, the bittersweet resolve, and the urgency of it all comes through his vocal performance. When Daryl Hall from Hall & Oates said that without Levi Stubbs, there would be no Hall & Oates, he's talking about situations like this. I'd go higher if I could, but 10 out of 10. Ultimately, this is a pretty good album if you're interested in checking out the group's music. About a third of the songs are outstanding, and the other 2/3 are split between just okay to downright forgettable. But this album will give you a few classics, for sure. Overall, I give this project a 7.5 out of 10. I'd like to take the time to thank my editor for all his hard work. Wouldn't be able to do these without you, so thank you. And to thank you all for your time as well. I sincerely appreciate it. And that's all for now, folks. Until next time, be safe, take care of yourselves and each other.